Yep, you know who this is. Eagles Way of Boxing up in here. Yeah. I told you I was gonna send this out today. We got to get y'all a little bit of something extra, man. So yeah, everybody always is always asking me, about some of the native champs. So I started doing Native American champs, and so I'm gonna do this today. Um, we got a whole lot more champs, but I'm just gonna do some of the more iconic ones. So I'm starting here today with Danny Little Red Lopez, if that's okay with you guys. Yeah. So Danny, he started the fight back in 1971. That's where he got his professional start, and it's 5/21 1971. That's where he KO'd Steve Flaholt, and that was round one. That was in L.A. Now, most of his fights did take place in L.A. Matter of fact, his first 20 fights took place in L.A. And his first 20 fights was all KOs. Matter of fact, his first 21 fights was KO. Yeah. The one outside of L.A. was actually fought, and he fought Ushiwa Kamura Harada. And he knocked him out in Honolulu, Hawaii. And that was a third round KO. For the little red one. The little red one, you know how we do it. Yeah. You see, I got my drum in the background. Got to have it, man. This is the native flow. This is the way we got to do it. Yep. 01/17/1974. Was the first person who actually went 10 rounds with him. And that was Genzo Carusa. That was in December. That was a decision, 10-round decision. And then a month later, back on the KO street, Mimo Rodriguez. He's the one that felt it. He's the one got the EJ Mikey put on him. That's the way we call it. The smash down. And that was in the third round. Then he went on to lose for a while. So he lost to Bobby Chacon. And then he lost to Shig Furuyama. And then went back on to he got a nice little winning streak going again. You know how we do. Got to get a winning streak going sooner or later. So he got his winning streak going back up. And he went on to a winning streak to become the WBC's #1 contender. And then he went over to Africa, over to Ghana. And that's where he met, and he beat the champ at that time. That was David Cote. And the communications from that area was just not good, so he couldn't go to the embassy. He couldn't contact his family from even his hotel room, because for some reason, some instance, that communications just was stopped. But when he got back home about a week later, then he was able to, let his family know what went down, that he was champ. He said, yeah, I'm champ, So he went on to win 3 more in 1977. And he was actually on the undercard of Muhammad Ali and Leon Spinks. And that's when he fought Cote again. He KO'd him in 6. And that was February 15th, 1978. And then he went on to finally fight in his state, which he was born in, which is Utah. Finally fought in that state. He's actually raised in L.A., but that's where he's from. He's from Utah, so he went and fought in Salt Lake City, and he fought Roberto Castagnone, and he was from Spain. And he went on to beat him. And then he had a controversial fight that nobody really knew that it was controversial, but it was controversial when he fought Mike Ayala, in which Ring Magazine said it was one of the best fights of the century. Yeah. And that's our little red right there, getting his fight on. But then he meets this guy who was totally outmatched him, who was, Salvador Sanchez, who's just a legend, man. Just always on his feet, always moving, always thinking. He's just perpetual, movement. And Danny just was a little bit just too slow for him. The skill set was just a bad matchup, just a very bad matchup. But it was a championship matchup, so you're a champ, you got to fight, and you got to be able to fight the ones that are the best, and sometimes you have to fight the ones that we look at as being scrubs and stuff. But in that case, this fighting Sanchez is real smart. He hurt Danny's eye in the first fight and just worked on the eye, just throwing a whole bunch of like right leads and stuff, in which I always tell people that that's the most disrespectful punch you can, as an orthodox fighter, that you can throw. But if you're smart and you can throw it because of just being, great, just being smart, and in the right circumstances, then go ahead and throw that punch. So he went on to lose to him a couple of times, even without the major skill set that he went on to fight and to win against champion like or these different champions, and then lose, but just without the skill set to fight Salvador Sanchez to 13 and a 15 rounder. By today's standards, it would have just both of those fights would have been just decision losses. But my hat go out, and I say I hope to my brother Meakai. Yep, and we say that to my brother, little Danny Red Lopez, who also went on to become a Hall of Famer. And when he went on to become a Hall of Famer, it was in that same boat with some other greats, some greats, and not just greats. But we'll see, as you can see the greats, I put them back up there. But you can see the greats that he went in with. I mean, well, you can't really see them. But it's the first time that there's actually a light flyweight champ. Jung Koo Chang had went in with him. And that's the first South Korean boxer. That's to make the Hall of Fame. And guess what? Sally Finkel, the one that the champ Deontay Wilder is always talking about, he actually made it in there also. Along with our referee and commissioner, Larry Hazard, and German promoter Wilfred Sauerland, and then also the matchmaker Bruce Trampler. So they all went in at the same time, and that was in 2010. Okay, so again, my shout out to the little one, little Danny Lopez, little red. I'll put it that way, little red Danny Lopez. And this is Eagles Way of Boxing. Just giving y'all a great one. And I'll see y'all soon. Until then, nothing but blessings, baby.